What's going on, you guys? It's me and Shadow here. Just want to talk to you guys today about my experience now becoming an Air Force Staff Sergeant, like my experience in ALS and my transition, my progress throughout my time in the Air Force up until this point. But before I talk about that, I want to introduce everyone actually to Shadow. Say hi, baby. Say hi. Hi. Where? Alright, go play, baby. Go on. I had to take her collar off of her because if not, she'll just run around the entire time with a little jingle like So I want to talk about my transition, right? And I'm sorry about the glare in the background. I'm really sorry about that. I lost my tripod and like my second tripod. So I have to get another one. So right now I'm using the old school method of stacking things on top of each other to get the right camera angle. So I'm sorry if things look a little weird. I know I'm doing my best with it. The transition I mentioned. When I look at all my videos up until this point and then my ideas, how I used to behave, right? So when I first started my videos all the time back in tech school, my main focus in the videos, while it was helping people, was being funny, entertaining, you know, trying to provide comedy to the videos, right? That's why every video had some kind of opening skit to it back then. I don't know if you guys remember that. If not, I can show you a few examples.
Ethan, it's fried my brain.
Give me a 341 right now. Run, bitch. You will pass your PT test. God.
How about we stop acting like retards on camera?
Why?
Because we have dignity.
What's dignity?
That thing that was stripped from you, sadly, from BMT.
Damn it. Shut up. Ah.
But now it's all about presenting the information in the best way possible. And that's what I'm here to do. So the biggest thing that I've had to not necessarily struggle with, but learn, especially through ALS, when it came to having to socialize people I didn't really know or at the time want to socialize with, was understanding that now things are not about me. That now I have to worry about how I behave and my ideas and how I present myself is not going to directly influence people beneath me. And the weirdest thing that came with the being promoted and going back to work was, like, you know, everyone calling me Sergeant Martin, all this other kind of stuff, and seeing people not behave differently on purpose, but just, you know, that little awkward phase of transition, you know, getting tacked on, all that nonsense. You know, it was odd for me. But you know, it is what it is, and I actually had fun at ALS and started near the end of it. You know, I'm not very good at socializing, and I actually did make some really good friends. I wanted to get them on video, but you know, everyone's kind of doing their own thing, and maybe one of these days I'll be a guest on my podcast, or maybe I can drag someone along to be a guest and have them explain what pain it was trying to talk to me and get me to do things. But yeah, it's definitely been interesting for me. You know, I mean, I understand, right, that I'm a 3.5-year staff sergeant. I'm a baby staff. You know, there's already been a set expectation of what people are expecting me to do or how to behave. You know, the ones that pull rank for everything, that make it known that they're a staff sergeant, you know, things like that. The jokes, obviously, but my goal when I found I made staff in August of last year was to learn. I wanted to know how I should handle almost every situation. I was bombarding all the NCOs that I trusted with questions almost on a day-to-day basis because I wanted to make sure that when I actually put the rank on, I was ready to handle these situations. And that was the biggest thing, is understanding too that I'm going to fail at some point in time. And failure is something to me that I've always been like, nope, I refuse to fail. I won't fail. I will make this work no matter what it takes. And unfortunately, that's something I have to accept, that that's not always plausible. that sometimes I'm just going to fail, and that's really all there is to it. And that's probably gonna be my biggest challenge, is understanding that I'm going to fail and understanding people's points of view. As a senior airman, and you know, not to toot my own horn, but being decent or good at my job, I very much, not necessarily tooting my own horn, but I really made my opinions known, I will say. And then I was very angry a lot when people were being what I called stupid or dumb. And I'm like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? Just why? You guys kill me, I can't take this. Why? Just why? And while mentally I may still have that attitude, I need to understand more of like just trying to have a more positive outlook, because again, like I said, my attitude is not going to directly reflect on people beneath me. And you know, a lot of my negative cynicism has come from people that were now in my position, like staffs, techs, and you know, your junior officers that are like, oh, this is stupid, I hate this, don't bother thinking about this, or don't bother paying any mind to it, it's dumb, it'll go back to the way it was, you know, whatever. And that's where a lot of my attitude came from, was just those kind of people. And nothing against them. Like, I can understand being upset a lot of the time, especially when some of the stories that I've heard, people have every right to be upset. But I don't want to be the person who sets a bad precedence for people. I want to be the positive example. And that's gonna be the hardest thing for me, just because really? Anyway, what I was told in ALS, and this is the feedback that I appreciated very much so, was that my tact is lacking. So my thing is this, I've always been a very direct person. I'm gonna tell you how I feel, I'm gonna tell you what I expect from you, or vice versa. I don't like beating around the bush, I don't like people messing around, that's me. But I understand that not everyone can handle that kind of leadership style. You know, when I'm upset, I'm gonna tell you I'm upset. When you're messing up, I'm gonna tell you you're messing up. That's just how I am. And I've never really been also a lead from the front kind of guy. I've always been kind of the guy in the background who does what needs to be done, but doesn't want the awards, accolades, or just to stand down and be like, yeah, I did this, you know, or in the front kind of guy. That was the thing I appreciated the most, is people just saying, it might be a good idea for you to take a step back and realize how people behave, and maybe you can meld with their leadership styles. So that was my thing. And I hope that I start to actually take that to heart and move forward with it. That's my end goal, is to try and be more positive with this and try to take what I've been given and do better with it. I hope that I can create a positive outlook for people, and just in general, I don't want to be as negative as I was as a senior airman, or as opinionated as I was too. I mean, I'm going to have those things, and it's going to take a while to change that. But I want to start to notice that progression as time has gone on. And I'm sure you guys have seen with the videos that I've made that, again, they went from more comedy aspects to serious and just putting out information. Like, there's been an obvious sense of maturity between Airman Basic, A1C, Senior Airman, now Staff Sergeant, right? There has been obvious progression. And I'm happy with that. I'm happy I've grown up as time has gone on. I remember being in tech school and thinking that what mattered in there was the biggest thing in the world, right? And then, you know, being a new airman, doing all this stuff, like, it's interesting. And I'm happy that I have noticed that progression in myself and maturity. And I hope that I actually take this and grow up with it more, because when I got back to work, like, they were not shy with what I had to be doing. They said, these are your troops, you're doing this upgrade training, you gotta handle this, you gotta handle that, and do it. Now I'm thinking to myself, oh yeah, I actually gotta do Staff Sergeant stuff now. Crap. You know, like, it was interesting. And to some people, like, oh, that's nothing, you know, I handle this or I handle that. But to me, only ever having been responsible for myself, it is a change of pace. And I'm excited and nervous to see how I handle it. And I hope as time goes on, I get better at it, you know, and things like that. But I just need to learn that I will fail, I will mess up, and I will eventually start to grow with the rank. Because right now, I still feel like a senior airman. And I'm sure that's very common. I've asked people, they said, you know, it's gonna take about 6 months to a year before you fully adjust to it. You know, it's gonna take a minute. It's not just like some euphoria that comes over you like, bam, you know, Staff Sergeant, now, boom. You know, it's not like that. And I'm glad it's not like that. Well, maybe I would be, but point being is just that I'd rather grow and learn. And, you know, that's just all I really have to say. You know, I'm glad that I have grown up. I'm glad that in some instances I realized where I still have to grow, and I appreciate ALS more for how I was forced to socialize and be around people to see how my attitude would come off around people who don't know me and who aren't in my work field. Like, that's how I will come off to a new airman. So I need to understand maybe I should change how I do some parts of my business. And it's a good thing. But I appreciate you guys. If you've been a viewer since the beginning, if you've been a viewer since last week, if you subscribed just yesterday, I appreciate you guys for everything that you've done, watching me grow up. I appreciate everything you guys do for me, watching my streams, watching my podcasts. You know, you guys are a big part of this too, and they very much have helped me get to where I am, whether you know it or not. I appreciate all of you for what you have done for me, and I know that I will continue to do this for you and help you guys as much as I can. I know I need to upload more. I've just been dealing with a lot, you know, promotion, moving, like I'm trying my best. I gotta get a new tripod now apparently, so there's that too. And I need to find a way to block off all this glare without blending you guys. But yeah, that is really all that I have. I will see you guys next time. Take care.